All right, everybody, welcome back. But first, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it the right way. Because why not? Sorry. Anyway, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Let's do that because I need room over here. This is part 26 of my 2026. 26 of 26. Part 26 of my 2026 VHS collection overview series. Now, what I did was I took everything that was in the rest of the drawers here. So the bottom, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, the bottom 5 drawers here. So that's what you see here. So we're just going to work through this and get done. I don't think it's all going to get done in one part, but we'll probably spill over into the next part, and then we will almost be done. We will almost be done. So let's just go ahead, excuse me, and let's get rocking and rolling. So first up, got some kind of random things here. Like I said, I did have these in the drawers kind of by category, but you know, when I go to put all this stuff back, I will of course change it up and switch it up like I did with laser discs and not really DVD and Blu-ray, but for laser discs a little bit, VHS, yeah, just kind of, you know, gotta shuffle it up every once in a while. So first up, I talked about the second one. This is the first one. This is great movie stunts and the making of Raiders of the Lost Ark, which as of now is only on VHS and Laserdisc. This one and Great Adventurers and Their Quests, which was the Last Crusade special. These have never come out on DVD or Blu-ray. For whatever reason, they did not include them with any of the Indiana Jones special DVD or Blu-ray editions. For whatever that's moldy. For whatever reason, I don't know why, but it was only $2, so I can't complain. But I think these are here on YouTube. I think if you search hard enough, you can find them here on YouTube or other places on the net. But of course, you know me. I like to have it in my hand. I like to have it physical. So there you go. But yeah, I don't know why they have never come out on DVD or Blu-ray or the 4K or what the case was. I guess just laziness. I know, what a surprise. Paramount being lazy. Gee, who'd have thunk it? So there you go. Next up, I do have a bunch of like in-store promo tapes or screeners or whatever you want to call them. This was actually the last batch that I bought. I got these a couple years ago, but I got them very cheap, so that's why I picked these up. And I really got them for the Universal Studios ones, because I always liked how they did their screeners or their promo tapes and stuff. So I really got these for them. But the other one that was included here, this is a Disney title. Buena Vista Home Video presents exclusive premiere special sneak previews of hot box office hits. So it's just a bunch of their titles that were coming out on VHS at the time getting promoted. This is still sealed, actually, which is pretty cool. Play this exclusive premiere loop tape in your store today. Fill your aisles with 71 powerful minutes of action, suspense, and laughter from the year's hottest movies and featuring Hollywood's hottest stars. This exclusive in-store preview tape maximizes customer awareness, drives rentals of exciting video hits, features big screen favorites including Miami Rhapsody, Ed Wood, The Puppet Masters, House Guest, A Simple Twist of Fate, Heavyweights, Bad Company, A Low Down Dirty Shame, and Quiz Show. So again, I don't know what is all included. in this tape. I will definitely give it a look. I'll give it a C, and then I'll probably end up digitizing that and then getting rid of it at some point. So there you go. But again, the reason why I bought this lot or this collection is there was 4 Universal Studios preview VHS that were included. So first up we have the 1994 first quarter preview, 90-minute in-store reel, including Jurassic Park, Phantasm 3, Lord of the Dead, The Paper, which had Michael Keaton in it, The Cowboy Way, which I still have not seen, The Cowboy Way, The Flintstones, The Shadow, The Land Before Time 2, The Great Adventure, and unfortunately Crooklyn with the fucking Spike Lee movie. Now what's weird is Jurassic Park did not come out on VHS until... Oh, it says fourth quarter. I said first quarter. My bad. Fourth quarter. Fourth quarter. I was going to say, because Jurassic Park did not come out on VHS until October 1994. So, my bad. I read it incorrectly. Duh. So, there you have it. Yeah, Jurassic Park, The Paper, Phantasm, The Cowboy Way, and Crooklyn, all available October. The Flintstones, November. Land Before Time, December. It doesn't say when The Shadow came out, but I think The Shadow probably came out because that was what, July? I think it came out in the theater. So it was probably November or December when that came out on VHS. Because remember, back then, it's not, the funniest thing about now is movies get announced on Blu-ray and 4K before they even come out in the theater. Back in the VHS days, movies didn't come out on VHS 6 months to a year after they played in the theaters. So they're sometimes even more, depending on the movie. Excuse me. I think the James Bond film, Die Another Day, didn't come out, I think, on VHS or DVD, because at that point DVD had already kicked in. That didn't come out until I think over a year later, because I remember wanting to see that and just waiting and waiting and waiting for it to come out on video, and it took forever. So there you go. Alright, now that I can read, this is the first quarter 1995 in-store preview VHS, which includes Time Cop, A Good Man in Africa, The River Wild, The Little Rascals, and The Adventures of Timmy the Tooth. Anybody remember Timmy the Tooth? So there you go. So got this really for Time Cop, but The River Wild is a good movie. I do like that one. I do like Little Rascals. Timmy the Tooth, I remember that as a kid. Remember watching that. Good Man in Africa, I've never seen, but Sean Connery's in it. So there you go. Time Cop, a $44 million box office giant that opened at number 1. Jean-Claude Van Damme stars in an action-packed futuristic adventure. Absolutely, I forgot to read. Jurassic Park, an adventure 65 million years in the making that made over $900 million at the worldwide box office. It did. It was the highest grossing movie ever at that point. Phantasm 3, the mind-blowing finale to the Phantasm horror trilogy, stars original cast members Reggie Bannister, A. Michael Baldwin, and Angus Scrimm as the Tall Man. The Shadow, over $30 million at the box office. Alec Baldwin stars as the mysterious vigilante hero based on the hit radio show. Exactly. But hey, fuck Alec Baldwin. Then we have the second quarter 1995 in-store preview. Now this one is probably similar. There's another one that I have, which has Double Dragon, Street Fighter, The War, and Junior. So this one's probably similar to that one, but it's still cool to get a hold of, at least in my opinion. So on, and then more Timmy the Tooth, and then Radioland Murders, which I've never seen. Double Dragon, the $350 million grossing video game, is now a spectacular live-action movie. Teen idol Scott Wolf stars with Mark Dacascos and Terminator 2's Robert Patrick in a high-energy adventure that boasts awesome special effects and wild martial arts battles. Kind of. Street Fighter, another box office champ, superstar Jean-Claude Van Damme battles a mad tyrant played by Raul Julia in this explosive thrill ride based on the best-selling video game. Exactly. There's that. And then the last one that I have here is the 1996 first quarter preview, which includes Waterworld, Clockers, To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, Babe, and Mallrats. So I got it for Mallrats and Waterworld. Waterworld, Kevin Costner, Dennis Hopper, Janine Triplehorn, and Tina Margarino star in a turbocharged action-adventure epic where Earth is completely covered by water and only one person holds the key to survival of the human race. And then Mallrats. What do two loafers do when their girlfriends tell them to kiss off for good? They spend the day at the mall. After all, there's something for everyone at the mall, including a way to win back their babes. That's when malls were still a thing. So there's that. Alright, so that's all the kind of like the random stuff. So here, I have a bunch of Beavis and Butthead VHS that we have not covered yet. So I've got a bunch of stuff here. So first up, I do have Troubled Youth, because I did have another copy of this, but it was a former rental, so they cut the box up to fit the like the plastic, like the Blockbuster type case. So I just got another one to kind of fit all the other Beavis and Butthead tapes. So the episodes on here is Citizen's Arrest, Substitute, No Service, Impotence, Speech Therapy, Work is Dead, Die Fly Die, which is one of my favorites, and Tainted Meat. I know we already covered that when we did the Time Life release, but for good measure, we'll do it again. And then this one's actually quite hard to come by, but I remember seeing like a listing for this on Amazon years ago, and I didn't really know what it was, and then it kind of disappeared, and then it randomly popped up on eBay. And I got it, and it's still sealed, but it's Beavis and Butthead Moronathon, which is a compilation VHS that they released in 2000. So way, a couple few years after the show was over, they decided to re-release this, but it compiles Innocence Lost, Troubled Youth, and Law-Abiding Citizens into one VHS tape, which is pretty cool. I've seen a couple of these pop up on eBay since then, but they're always expensive. Not sure how much I paid for this, but it wasn't pricey or anything. I think I got it at a steal because it just kind of randomly popped up. So yeah, way after the show had ended and they had stopped making VHS tapes, they did one more. Again, just this compilation, which is pretty cool. So I definitely would like to, even though, again, it's just the one we just covered and then two others, it's still cool to have, for the Beavis and Butthead collection. I wonder why they put it in a clamshell, though. That's kind of interesting. And then I have 5 of the Japanese releases, because number one, you can play Japanese VHS tapes here in America, as we already covered, because it's the same signal. It's NTSC. And number 2, there were a lot more titles that came out in Japan than we got here in America. In America, I think we got 9. Excuse me. In Japan, they got about 15 or 16. So there were more. Well, it would be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, there was actually, there's more than that. So they did about 20. Excuse me. They did about 20 in total in Japan. So the 9 that came out here plus another 10 or so. So these are pretty hard to come by at this point. Whenever they pop up on eBay, if it's one of the ones that I don't have, I would like to get. So, again, these are pretty cool. So, first up, we have Star Pupils, and I do not understand Japanese. I do not read Japanese, so I cannot tell you what episodes are on here without watching it. So then it's pretty cool because it slips out at the bottom. And then they did some other ones style packaging here. But there's 8 episodes on here. And I like, again, the translation. You dumb ass. So, gotta love it. So, very cool. And then this came out in 1999. So, they were still, I guess, Beavis and Butthead was still popular in Japan. So, they were still pumping these out. Now, I'll wait on this one because I have... Yeah, so here's what we'll do. We'll flip these around. And then these might be former rentals, the bigger boxes here. So this is the History of Beavis Part 1. And then it slides out of the top. Yeah, I think these are how they did their rental copies, which is very cool. And then there's 8 episodes on here. And these are in English. Again, you will need... both of your audio cables if you want to hear it in English or Japanese, so that's pretty cool. Then we have the History of Beavis Part 3. I don't know if they did a Part 2 because I don't have that one, so I don't know. And this one also has 8 more episodes. And in the UK and Australia, they also released some as well, but I don't have, again, a PAL VCR, so I can't get those. I do have one. One of the websites I go on, somebody digitized it, so I do actually have one on DVD-R as I was able to find. And then we have the History of Beavis Part 4, which this came out in 2000, and this also has 8 episodes. So I guess 8 episodes was their standard to put on these tapes. And then the other one that I have here is Self-Improvement, which again has 8 more episodes. And this came out in 99 as well. So there you go. So yeah, there's, I think, 3 or 4 more that came out in Japan that I don't have. So I'm always on the lookout to get those. And I think when I get all of them, I'll watch it. I'll watch all of them. You know, the chase is better than the catch, as Motorhead once sang. So there you go. And then I do have a couple bootleg Beavis and Butthead VHS here, which is pretty cool. So this one is called the Banned Episodes. So you have to remember back then, you know, they did pull episodes from circulation because people complain, you know, my kid saw it on Beavis and Butthead and he tried to light his sister on fire and all this other stupid shit. And, of course, there were controversies and such at the time. So some of them got pulled very early. So on here, we have Frog Baseball, which was the original pilot, Blood Bank, Peace, Love, and Understanding, Balloon, Door to Door, and Good Credit. And I think those were all from the first and the second season. So the animation's not the best. Then you got No Laughing, which that one was not banned. That one's on one of the VHS releases. Stewart's House got banned because they were huffing gas from the stove. Home Improvement, where they paint the dog with paint thinner and then the dog catches on fire. Babes R Us, and Burger World. So only some of these were actually banned. The rest of them, I guess they just did not rerun because Mike Judge was not a fan of the animation style. He was very critical of that. Then we have a 2-tape set here of early uncut and banned episodes. So I think some of the same episodes are on here. But again, you know, I love Beavis and Butthead. So whenever I find stuff like this, I like to pick it up. And then I have a couple other ones that we already looked at. I think the artwork is exactly the same on these. So there you go. So I don't know what episodes are on there, but it's probably something similar to the first one there. So we'll take a look at those at some point, and I'll write down what episodes are on there. All right. So speaking of Beavis and Butthead, I'm not going to hold these up because it's too many, but we got some more excuse me, We got some more cartoons. That is not a cartoon. We'll get to Lords of Dogtown in a minute here, but we got more cartoons and kid stuff here. So first up, this was the other X-Men tape that we didn't cover because, again, I had purchased one before and it just did not work. It would not play. I don't know what the issue was, so I went and got another one. This is when Universal Studios released a lot of the X-Men cartoons on VHS because they got the license because they bought out Polygram, and this is when the first movie came out. So this is Classic X. This is the Wolverine volume, which has the episodes Captive Hearts and Cold Vengeance, which Cold Vengeance actually is a Wolverine-centric episode. So, as I said in the when we covered them previously, some just because it had the name of the character on the tape didn't mean anything. So there's that. Then we've got Spawn. This is the Spawn animated series. This is actually the complete first season. This is the uncut version because they did release a PG-13 edit and an unrated cut, which was how the show actually aired. So this is the first season. Love that lenticular cover there, which this was actually the best season. So there you go. Season 2 and 3 were okay, but I think they focused too much on other characters. And it does have the 1997, the year of Spawn. It's got an ad for everything Spawn related, and then you can get a free poster if you want, which I think that has expired. But yeah. So actually, the Spawn cartoon, since the seasons were only, I think, 6 episodes each, they actually did release the entire series on VHS, which was cool. I might pick up the other 2 at some point, but I'm not in a rush, because again, the first season was definitely the best. Season 2 and 3 are okay, but they weren't as good as the first. And I shall return. I gotta take care of some business here. Okay, I had to... Sorry, blow my nose. So, I don't think you guys want me doing that on camera. Anyway, moving on. This one's pretty cool. This is Gargoyles. This is Deeds of Deception. But this is a little bit different. At Blockbuster, back in the day, they used to have this line called Kidmungus, which were these exclusive cartoons that were released there. There was Transformers and G.I. Joe had a few that were there. I think Thomas the Tank Engine had a few. There was a Scooby-Doo. There was a couple. I know one Scooby-Doo. But they actually released 2 Gargoyles VHS. I believe this is the second one, which took the Deeds of Deception and Brothers Betrayed, which were 2 separate VHS, and put them in as one. I guess to get people to buy them. But these are a little bit harder to come by. I have been trying to get the other volume for quite some time, but there was a guy that was selling one on eBay. I think he wanted like $100 for it, and I was not going to pay $100. I did not pay anything close to $100 to get this one. But yeah, there's a guy, he was trying to, and then he pulled it because nobody was going to pay that. But I do want to get that one. But yeah, these are, they don't pop up often. But I do want to get the other one at some point, which is very cool. So yeah, nothing different from the kind of the retail release, the regular release, but it's still cool to have. And come on, it's Gargoyles. Gargoyles is awesome. Next up, we have Bruno the Kid. This is the Last Christmas, so this is the Christmas special. Again, for those of you that don't know, Bruno the Kid was a cartoon that was created by Bruce Willis, and he actually did the voice of the lead character. How Bruce Willis found time to do a cartoon in the 90s in the middle of his busiest time, I don't know, but he did. And I think this might be the only other VHS that came out. I do have the movie, which was just the first bunch of episodes edited together to compile as a movie. I have that one, which we already covered, but as far as I know, This is the only other release that came out. I have to dig a little bit, but I think this is it. And there's Bruce Willis right there, which is very cool. So I did get this at the last local mom and pop video store when they were closing up shop. So there you go. But again, I think this might be the only other tape that came out. In Italy, of all places, it did come out on DVD. I think they did volumes, but they did release the complete series, and it has it in English and Italian. So I would like to track those down at some point. Then we've got Kim Possible, The Secret Files, which I think they did a couple few Kim Possible releases, which I'd like to get all those, because I actually really enjoyed this show. I used to watch it when it was on. Always really enjoyed it. So good voice cast in here as well. So it's 70 minutes. So I want to say there's probably about 3 or 4 episodes in here. There's a never before seen episode included, so I don't know which ones are on here. It doesn't tell you, but it's still cool to have, because I like that show. Next up, this one's pretty hard to come by for whatever reason, but it is Samurai Pizza Cats, the movie. So they just edited again some of the episodes together to make a movie to sell it to you. But yeah, this one I don't know why is hard to come by. It's expensive, but I got it decently priced because I was not going to pay hundreds of dollars to get this, and it's in pretty good shape, so I can't complain. But love this show. I do have it on Blu-ray. I do remember watching it as a kid, which is very cool, and I love that artwork on there too, which is very nice. So I don't know specifically what episodes are in there, but I'll look it up at some point. Yeah, then I lied to you guys. I didn't lie to you guys. I said I had this one. So the only other Wishbone VHS I have is Hercules Unleashed. I did not lie to you guys. I said that I had the Hercules one. So there's that. And then I don't know if this came with the VHS. It did, but it had like a lenticular spine, so they kept it on there, which is kind of interesting. But I did get this one at the last local mom and pop store when they were going out of business. This was the only one that they had, but still very cool. Love Wishbone. Like I said, I think the only two that I don't have is the Frankenstein and the Sleepy Hollow ones, which again, of course, the only two that I don't have is the horror ones. But I think that's it. And like I said, they did re-release some of them under different titles, so you gotta look and be careful and see which ones are which. But I think those are the only two that I don't have. I have to again look into that a little further. Next up, this was considered lost media for a while, and then I think it popped up on YouTube, and then everybody started selling their tapes off. But I do have the last of the Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald. This is the Legend of McDonald Loch. So Ronald looking for the Loch Ness Monster. Now, back in the day, they did not make many of these because you could only get this one on the internet. You can only get this one on the website for Klasky Cuspo, which was the people that made it. McDonald's did not sell this in their stores for whatever reason. So I did track this one down off of eBay. So I still haven't watched it yet, but definitely have to give this one a look soon. There's something rattling around in there, but it should be okay. So there's that. So I do have all those. Then I do have the two Tick VHS tapes that came out. So first up we have the Tick versus Arthur, which I did have this one before, and I have no clue what happened to it. I don't know if I got rid of it, because there was a time when I was just getting rid of random VHS tapes for whatever reason, and a lot of them I did not want to get rid of, but I did it anyway. So got this one back. I think I got this one new, and I just busted the seal on the bottom there to get it out. But I think this has the pilot, and yeah, I think it just has the pilot because it's only one episode. So got this one back in the collection. Again, I don't know why I got rid of it, but I did. And then we have The Tick versus the Idea Man and versus Chairface Chippendale, if I could talk. So there's 2 episodes on here, which I do have the complete series of The Tick on DVD because it came out overseas. I love this cartoon. I loved it as a kid. I love it even more as an adult because now I understand all the jokes and everything, because this was a show that was really more for the adults. But very cool. So these are the 2 VHS tapes that came out. There's that. Next up, we have one of the most underrated animated movies of all time. Unfortunately, it killed the studio, but that doesn't mean it's not a good movie. So we have Titan AE, which is stuck on DVD. Sadly, there is no official Blu-ray for this movie. I guess Disney doesn't give a shit about it, but oh well. But I got this again at the last local mom and pop store when they were calling it a day. So, but love Titan AE. Sadly, it killed 20th Century Fox's animation division. So there's that. Next up, we have the special edition of Agent Cody Banks, which I do like this. I liked it when it came out. I still like it. The second one, not so much. I thought the second one was awful, but I still like the first one. This does have some deleted scenes as an extra feature on here, which is cool. I don't know if they did a non-special edition release or not, but this one is trying to entice people, I guess, to go buy the DVD. But do have it on DVD. I think there is a Blu-ray for Agent Cody Banks, but I don't think it has any of the extras that the DVD did. I have to look into that. Next up, this is another one of those custom releases. I think my brother might have got this for me. I don't think I bought it. I think he might have got it for me as a gift. But we've got Rocket Power. So the same people that made the Are You Afraid of the Dark VHS that I have, this is the one they made as well. And there's 10 episodes on here, which is pretty cool. The Tony Hawk episode is on here amongst others. So there you go. But love Rocket Power. Always really enjoyed that show. Next up, we've got Robotech. This is Volume 1, which has the first 2 episodes, Booby Trap and Countdown. And this is the early 90s release from Family Home Entertainment. They before they were Family Home Entertainment, they had different... Well, no, they did not. I'm sorry. They were always Family Home Entertainment. My bad. They had previously released some of the Robotech stuff, but in 1993, they did, I believe it was a 36-volume run of Robotech, and they had all this great artwork that you see on here and everything. So I would like to get all of those. But as of now, I only have Volume 1. But love Robotech. One of the first big animes that they brought over here that was really successful. Even though it took footage from 3 different shows, but that's the standard, you know. Next up, this is pretty cool to have. This was one that I was after for quite a while. I don't know if it's rare or anything, but when I picked it up, it was cheap. But we have a VHS double feature on one tape. We have 3 Ninjas Kick Back and 3 Ninjas Knuckle Up. So again, I don't know how rare this is or how hard to come by this is, but when I got this was one that I remember seeing a listing for on Amazon back in the day. So back in the day when I first got on the internet, when I first got a computer, I used Amazon quite a bit because I knew about eBay, but I looked at eBay more as, oh, it's an auction site and you got to bid against people. So when I first started, getting into the internet and looking for movies and such, I would go to Amazon a lot. And I remember again seeing the listing for the Moron-a-thon, Beavis and Butthead, and seeing a listing for this and a listing for a lot of these rare VHSs and stuff, and kind of forgot about it. So there you go. But yeah, I think I got this pretty cheap. I want to say I did get it off of eBay, but it is what it is. And this came out in '98, so they probably re-released this when High Noon at Mega Mountain came out. So there's that. So very cool. All right, I think that is all. Yeah, that's all the kid stuff. All the stuff over here is action. So we'll wrap up with that. But I do want to knock out, if it wants to behave. Actually, no. Well, this stack is all drama, and then I do have 2 stacks of comedy, and then the rest of it's action. So I will knock out the drama films, and then we'll do the comedy, and then we'll wrap up with action. So there we go. All right, since we prematurely talked about this, or no, not prematurely, but it was on top there. I do have Lords of Dogtown, which this is a late release, so this came out at the end of the VHS life cycle, and this is the PG-13 theatrical version. But really enjoyed this film. I don't think it did well when it came out. I think they were expecting it to be this big hit and everything, but again, I don't think it did that well. But I've always really enjoyed this movie. Always thought it was very solid, good drama. They told a good story. Killer soundtrack as well, but very solid movie. And again, I'm going to flip everything around so it doesn't matter. Next up, we have The Butterfly Effect. I love that. Like, it's not really lenticular. It's hollow foil or whatever they call it. It's pretty cool. I do quite like that, actually, which is very nice. But really enjoyed this movie. I remember when this came out in the theaters. I didn't see it back then. I didn't see it until, I think, when I got out of the Army, to be honest. So it's been a few years since I watched this. But I picked up I think I found the DVD at a Goodwill, and I watched it one day and really enjoy it, which is why I picked up the VHS. But like I said, I do remember when this came out in the theater. But I was too young to go see it by myself, because this was what? 2003, yeah. So, 2004. So I was only 12 when this came out. But this is a former Blockbuster rental. I didn't know that because it didn't have the sticker on the back. But yeah, really enjoyed this film. Can't complain. And hey, you get a little write-up from Kurt Loder there. Very nice. Love that guy. And then we have another late release here. We have Miracle, about the USA hockey team beating the Russians in 1980, and they won again in the Olympics. And then it's crazy. The men won the gold in the Olympics this year for hockey. The women won the gold this year in Olympics for hockey, and America won in the Paralympics. So fuck yeah, baby. Can't go wrong. So very nice. Very, very nice. But great movie. Kurt Russell should have got an Oscar for this movie, at least in my opinion. It was long overdue. But yeah, this is another later Disney release here, but still, again, always really enjoyed this movie, and very happy to have that on video. So there you go. Next up, we have Sling Blade. Love Sling Blade. Great movie. Picked this one up again at the last local mom and pop store when they were getting out of Dodge, so to speak, But again, always really enjoyed this film. This is the theatrical version. I don't think the director's cut ever came out on VHS, but regardless, great movie. Always really enjoyed Sling Blade. Dwight Yoakam is just such a fucking scumbag in the movie, but he did a great job. That was the point. But I don't think he gets enough credit for his acting abilities. It's always nice when he pops up in something, because come on, it's fucking Dwight Yoakam. Why not? Next up, we have, this is The Last Don 2, but what's it say at the top here? This is the feature-length home video edition. It is sun-faded, unfortunately. So for The Last Don 1 and 2, they were mini-series that aired. They released the full, The Last Don, I think, was 3 parts, and The Last Don 2, I think, was 2 parts. So they released the full miniseries, and then they did like a home video edit. So for The Last Don 2, I only have the home video edit for the second one. For the first one, which we already covered, that's my parents' copy from back in the day. That's still the full miniseries edit. And it does say rated R, but I don't think they add. I think maybe The Last Don 2, they added some nudity for the home video version, but the first one didn't have anything that you didn't see on TV. They just did that as kind of a marketing thing. But I did get this, again, where I go camping. There's still a mom and pop video store there, so I grabbed this from there one of the times I went in. So very, very cool. So I have to get the full miniseries edit of that, and then I'll have to get the home video edit of the first one just to have them both, because they are on DVD, but the DVDs are the full miniseries. So like with Salem's Lot, when they did the European theatrical version, they didn't put those movie edits out on DVD. But the first Last Don, I think the Laserdisc might have been that movie edit. I'll have to look into that, because the first one got a Laserdisc, the second one did. So there you go. Next up, we have Amongst Friends, which is a gangster crime movie which never gets brought up, which never gets talked about. But there was a Sopranos Facebook group I was in for a little bit, and this movie was brought up in there, so I went and checked it out. I actually really like it. I do have it on DVD. Quite enjoyed this film, actually. Not bad. And it does have a very young Mira Sorvino in here before anybody knew who she was, which is very cool. And then Patrick McGaw is in this, who would later be, I think the year after this, was in The Basketball Diaries with Leonardo DiCaprio, which I actually really enjoyed that film. But yeah, this one's good. Little independent crime film. I did find this at the local mom and pop store when they were closing up shop. But what's really cool, and I'm sure that a lot of the money and the budget went to it, but it has the Red Hot Chili Peppers song. Oh God, now I'm putting myself on the spot here because I can't remember the name of the song. I Could Have Lied. I'm sorry. The song is called I Could Have Lied, which I was surprised that they got it in there, but I guess they worked out a deal or whatever. But that's pretty cool. Well, this one should fit in comedy, but it's more of a comedy drama, a dramedy, so to speak. But The Wanderers, love The Wanderers. I'm not sure where I got this. I want to say maybe out in Colorado. I found it somewhere. But it's about a gang in the early 60s, but it has Ken Wall from The Taking of Beverly Hills, which is very cool. Like I said, sadly, Ken Wall, he was on the TV show Wise Guy, but he never really hit it huge, and then he got hurt, and then he disappeared. I mean, he's still alive. It's not like he died. But he just disappeared. I hope he's doing well. I always liked his work as an actor, but I guess it just wasn't for him, or I don't know if there were other things going on that we don't know about, but I hope he is well. And he doesn't do interviews and such, sadly, because it would be cool, for him to talk about this movie or The Taking of Beverly Hills. But yeah, this is one of those movies that, like American Graffiti, and it's that 60s nostalgia that was coming out in the late, in the 70s and everything. But I really enjoy these kind of movies because I wish I was alive in the 60s, so there you go. I wish I could have been a greaser and riding around in a hot rod and listening to, some of the greatest music ever made. You know what I'm saying? Then we have The Last Samurai, great movie. Always really enjoyed this film. I think I first saw this when it came out on DVD back in the day. But I would assume, 2004. So yeah, it's a little bit of a later VHS release here. Probably one of the last big movies that Warner Brothers put out on VHS. But again, a very, very good movie. Never gets talked about, but always really enjoyed this film. I did find it at a Goodwill, but it is a former Blockbuster rental, which makes it even better. So there's that. But if you have not seen this movie, go ahead and give this a look because you will really enjoy it. Ken Wantabe, I know it says he was nominated for an Oscar. I want to say he won the Oscar for this. I could be wrong. I'd have to look into that, but if he didn't win, he should have won. So there you go. But very solid movie. Definitely one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies as well. So there you go. But I do think it's a little more on the underrated side because you don't hear anybody talk about it anymore, sadly. Sorry. Next up, we've got Vision Quest. Great high school wrestling drama. Actually, my brother wrestled and found out about this movie from him. And even though I didn't wrestle myself, even though I'm wearing a wrestling sweatshirt to support him and the sport, because I do support the sport, because my cousin, her son, actually started wrestling, and we went and saw him, and he loves it, and he's actually pretty good. So, hopefully he sticks with it. So we'll see. But great movie. Really enjoyed this movie. There is a Blu-ray, but I don't think it has any extras, sadly. I think it was a Warner Archive release. But this movie definitely deserves it, at least in my book. And killer soundtrack as well. Sammy Hagar's on here. Journey, Only the Young was the theme song from the film. Madonna, I think this is Madonna's first movie. She doesn't have any speaking lines. She's singing in a nightclub. But yeah, actually that is the first movie she was in. So there you go. And then we've got Thunderheart. Great movie. Always really enjoyed this. This movie completely skipped over a Blu-ray. It did get a 4K earlier this year that had extra features. I definitely want to pick that up. But they just, again, completely skipped over the Blu-ray for whatever reason. And went straight to 4K, but there you go. But always really enjoyed this movie. I do have it on Laserdisc and DVD, because again, for the longest time, it was only on DVD. Not sure where I got that one either. Next up, we have Menace to Society. Great movie, great hood movie, great gangsta movie. Again, got this at the local mom and pop store when they were closing up shop. This is the theatrical version, I believe. Yes, this is the R-rated theatrical cut. I don't think the director's cut ever came out on VHS. I know the Laserdisc and the DVD and the Blu-ray and such were, but I don't think it was on VHS. That I would have to look into. But great movie. Definitely need to pick up the Criterion release of that. I do have the older Blu-ray for it. I need to get Boys in the Hood on VHS. I don't have that one either. And then, of course, that one's coming out on the Criterion label, so I'll have to get that when that one comes out. All right, then we have Absolute Beginners, which has David Bowie. This was sent to me by accident. I had bought another VHS, and then the person sent this to me instead, but they told me I could keep it, and I was going to get rid of it. I'm like, let me give it a watch. It's still sealed. It's not like it's open, but it's got David Bowie. He's in here. Patsy Kensit from Lethal Weapon 2 is in here. So, yeah, I'll give it a look. If I like it, great. If not, it's not that big of a deal. So, yeah, one of these days I'll watch it. So there's that. Next up, we have White Squall, which is a pretty underrated Ridley Scott movie. You never hear anybody bring this one up. You never hear anybody talk about this film. But I've always enjoyed this movie. This is another one of those films that was constantly on cable when I was a kid, so I would watch it quite a bit. But good drama. Didn't do anything when it came out. It kind of just came and went. But it does have a pretty stacked cast. You got Jeff Bridges, one of the all-time greats as far as I'm concerned. Caroline Goodall from Cliffhanger with Sylvester Stallone. John Savage, who I love. And all the kids. Well, they're not kids now, but they were kids when the movie came out. Scott Wolf is in it. Jason Marsden is in it. Not to be confused with James Marsden. Ryan Felipe is in it. Balthazar Getty. Ethan Embry. There's a bunch of... at the time, they were, young, up-and-coming actors are in that movie. And good soundtrack, too, as well. There's a bunch of good songs in there. Jeremy Sisto's in it. I've always liked him. But good flick. Always really liked that flick. Have it on Laserdisc and Blu-ray as well. And then we got a couple more serious Robin Williams movies here. So we got Insomnia and 1 Hour Photos. So I actually remember when these came out, and I was very happy that somebody was finally letting Robin Williams do these kind of roles. Now, of course, he had done dramatic movies before, Good Will Hunting, which, of course, he won the Oscar. Good Morning Vietnam, yes, it was a comedy, but there was some really good, dramatic, serious moments in it. Dead Poet Society, obviously, but there was a period there when, I don't know who it was, but people were finally letting Robin Williams stretch his abilities as a dramatic actor, and he was doing more serious movies, or when he was on Law and Order. The episode of Law and Order that he was in was pretty good as well. So, good stuff. So we have Insomnia, which is also Christopher Nolan. So there's that. And De Niro and Hilary Swank are in here. Or not De Niro, I'm sorry. Fuck De Niro. Al Pacino. Al Pacino is better. Al Pacino is in this. And Hilary Swank. So there's that. And then we have 1 Hour Photo, where he gets to be a little more edgy, a little more creepy, but good stuff. Because he always had it in him. I don't know why it took forever for people to say, "Hey, let's do something different with Robin Williams. Let's let him be kind of weird and creepy, or more serious and dark and edgy. He can pull it off." So I don't know why it took so long. You know what I mean? And then we have The Prince of Central Park, which has Danny Aiello, one of my all-time favorites. I miss him. Kathleen Turner, Kathy Moriarty, and Harvey Keitel. And this was actually produced by Steven Seagal. So there you go. His name is on here somewhere. I know he produced it. Where is his name? It's not on the back here, but he did produce this film. So there you go. But it's about this kid. You gotta love the horrible photoshopped artwork there of the kid's head on somebody else's body. But yeah, this kid goes missing in Central Park, and they gotta go find him. So there you go. But yeah, Seagal produced this. So there you put it. I don't know why his name isn't on here. But oh well. But these three here, I got at the last mom and pop store when they were closing up shop. So there you go. All right, we'll go about another 20 minutes or so on here. So here's what I'm gonna do. There we go. Little more. Little more. Little help now. There we go. So I will pull this stack and this stack. And we will do all of the comedy movies. And then we'll come back. Don't look at my ass, even though my ass won't be in the shot. Alright. So, yeah, that's it. So I pulled all the comedy films. So we'll do those. And then we'll wrap up that. And then in the next segment, we'll do all the action films, and then we'll be done, and then we'll wrap up with the grandparents' VHS collection. So we're almost done. No big deal. All right, next up I'll be watching this movie soon probably for 420. But we have Half Baked. Great comedy. Love Half Baked. Cannot go wrong with this movie. And I love that they did that with they didn't have like the traditional artwork. I like that they did that. And then that with the artwork. So But love Half Baked. This was a movie that a friend of mine actually had on DVD, and I borrowed it from him and still love it to this day. Even though I have never, I can have people testify to this in a court of law if need be. But I have never smoked marijuana. I will never smoke marijuana. It's not my thing. If you do, that's your choice. It's got nothing to do with me. But again, that's your thing. That's not my thing. But I love stoner movies, so there's that. Then we've got Night at the Roxbury, which is so stupid, but that's why it works. That's why it's funny. But I actually really like this film. I always did. Again, just dumb comedy, and they don't make these kind of movies anymore for whatever reason. Then we got Eddie Murphy, Raw. Absolute classic. I got to get Delirious on VHS. I don't have that one on VHS. And I went to, yesterday, I had a job interview, and I stopped at 3 Goodwills, and I think all 3 of them had Eddie Murphy Delirious on DVD, but I already have it. So there you go. Next up, we have, actually, Raw I got at a Goodwill. Half Baked I got a Goodwill. I don't know where I got Night at the Roxbury. But then we've got Election, which is I actually really like this movie. It's a pretty funny, but it's more of a darker comedy. But I do quite like this film. I can't complain. Good stuff in there. And it's an MTV film, actually. Go figure. I am kind of running out of room a little bit, but that's okay because we're almost done. And then I got to put all this shit away. But that's all right. Then we have Tim Allen. This is one of his stand-up specials. This is Rewires America. And I got this at a Goodwill. I think this was right around this was right around the time that Home Improvement started. It says 1991, so there you go. The tape came out later, but I think the special was in 91, so this was right around the time again that Home Improvement started. And then Men Are Pigs, I have to get that one because I don't have that. I think they're on DVD as well, but it's still cool to have on VHS. I will save that for a moment here. I did get back in the collection. I did get back the Austin Powers trilogy because I did have these on VHS for the longest time, and then when I got them on DVD, I got rid of them. But I wanted to get them back because I do like all these movies. So first up, we have the original Austin Powers, which I think I got this at the flea market. And this is because I was trying to, everywhere I went, they would have Austin Powers, but it was always a reprint. I wanted the original printing, and you could tell because it still had the paper label. And I think I got it for free. I think he just gave, or it was $1 or whatever, but he just gave it to me. I think he gave it to me for free because I bought other stuff. And then we have The Spy Who Shagged Me, which for the longest time, the only ones I had on VHS was the first one and Goldmember, because I remember my mom getting the first one, I think through Columbia House or something, and then we got Goldmember at a grocery store when grocery stores used to sell movies. Spy Who Shagged Me I had on VHS, but I didn't get till much later. I think I found it at the creepy closeout store. Oh, damn, this one's all fucking moldy too. Damn. And then we've got Goldmember, which I got Spy Who Shagged Me and Goldmember at a Goodwill. Might have to buy another copy of Spy Who Shagged Me. Oh, wow. Then I have, these are the other 3 Kevin Smith movies that I did not, well, one of them I had on VHS before, but I did not have these. So, I have Mallrats, or Clerks was first. I have Clerks, Mallrats, and the Clerks cartoon, and then I grabbed these. So, again, the first 2, I don't think I ever had on VHS prior. But we got Chasing Amy, which this is a former Blockbuster rental, as you could tell by the stickers on the front and the back. And then there's the Please Rewind sticker. Because, yes, you should do that. I don't do that. That's just me. I don't rewind them until I watch them. And then we've got Dogma, which I don't think I ever had Dogma before on VHS. And these are all actually Blockbuster rentals, because I did that on purpose. And then we have Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which I did have this one before. This was actually the only one that I had on VHS back in the day. And then when I got the DVD, I got rid of it. So there you go. But wanted to get all those back, or wanted to get those in the collection. Again, Jay and Silent Bob, I wanted to get back in the collection. So there we go. All right. Next up, one of my favorite comic book superhero movies, Mystery Men. I absolutely love this movie. I think it's hilarious. Sadly, I think it was way ahead of its time. That's why it didn't do well. Now people look at it in a different light. But always really enjoyed this movie. And it is a former Blockbuster rental, even though it didn't have any stickers on the box. But love Mystery Men. And then we've got a couple Christina Applegate movies here. So first up, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Got to have this one on VHS. I think I got this maybe one of the conventions I found it. I'm not entirely sure where I grabbed this from, but again, you got to have it on VHS. And then we've got Just Visiting, which I remember when this came out. It was a huge flop. It did not do well at all. And it's a remake of a French film, Les Visiteurs, which I've seen, because when I was in high school, we watched it in French class. But I actually like this. I mean, it's got Jean Reno. I can't complain. But yeah, when this came, I think it came out the week of September 11th, 2001, so that didn't help. But it was a huge flop when it came out, but I still like it. And I did get this at the video store where we go camping. They had it in there for sale. I think I have it on Blu-ray as well. So there's that. Then we have Get Over It, which I do remember when this came out, but I've never seen it before. But I found it at the last local mom and pop store when they were going out of business. But we've got Martin Short is in it, so you can't go wrong with him. Colin Hanks, Tom Hanks' son, Ben Foster from the Disney Channel series Flash Forward. Kirsten Dunst is in it. Cisco, as you can see, is in this. So, yeah. We'll see what happens. And then we got Bruce Almighty, which I picked up at a Goodwill, but love Bruce Almighty. I think this was the last major Jim Carrey movie that, number one, came out on VHS, and number two, the last one that I really cared about, because after this, I don't think I really followed much of his career at that point. Because I think he kind of faded away at that point. Because nobody stays on top forever, despite what some people may think. Couldn't do that again if I tried. So we'll save that. And then we'll do these. So next up we have Major League, which I was like, I know I have it on VHS, I just haven't watched it yet. So there we go. I have Major League 2, but I actually like all three of the Major Leagues. Major League 2 was always my favorite because number one, a lot of it was shot in Baltimore. And number two, that's the one I always watched the most as a kid, but I like all three of the Major League films. I need to get the third one on VHS. This one I knew nothing about. Or no, I'm sorry. My bad. Of course I knew about this movie. I love this movie. Men at Work. I'm sorry. I got it confused with another movie in this stack here. But love Men at Work. Very fun. Early 90s comedy. Check this one out if you have not seen this. I got this at the local mom and pop store when they were calling it quits. But always enjoyed that film. You never mess with a man's fries, which is true. Then I got White Chicks, same thing. Got it at the last local mom and pop store. This is the PG-13 theatrical version. I don't think there's much difference between this and the unrated version. Again, as I talked about in previous segments, in the height of the DVD era, when every movie was getting an unrated version or whatever, most of it was just fluff or stuff that was slightly trimmed. It wasn't anything that they actually had to cut out to get a PG-13 or an R or what have you. A lot of it, again, was just extra or fluff. So, yeah, because people, I remember on a stream somebody asked me that once, and I'm like, it was really just marketing. It was really just a gimmick to get people to buy that specific version. So there you go. This is the movie. I'm sorry that I got myself confused. I had never heard of this movie before. I knew nothing about this movie, but I got it at the video store where we go camping because I saw the box art, and that's what you would do back in the day. But it's faithful with I got it because of Chaz Palminteri and Ryan O'Neal, but Cher is also in it. Again, never heard of this movie, never seen this movie, but it was $1 or whatever the case was, and I said the hell with it. I'll grab it. And then I have a couple. We already covered some Saturday Night Live movies, but I do have a couple actual Saturday Night Live VHS here. So first up, we have the best of John Belushi. Cannot go wrong. Always loved John Belushi. Was always a huge fan of his work. And I believe, if I am not mistaken, I found both of these at a Goodwill, but I believe that there might be some different stuff on here than that's on the DVD release. So there you go. Not that it really matters, because I think all the John Belushi stuff is on DVD in some form, because they did the first couple of seasons, which he was in. But I think the best of John Belushi VHS and DVD have different stuff on it. Again, not that it matters. And then we have the best of Chris Farley, which this one was a special that they aired after he died, because the DVD and probably even what is with the fucking mold on all this shit? I don't know. Maybe it isn't being in the basement is climate controlled and everything, so it doesn't matter. But oh well, they get moldy after a while. But yeah, this was a special that they aired after he died, because again, the DVD that I have, it's not full sketches. It's just some of them are full sketches, and then some of them are clips. And I would assume this thing, yeah, because here it says some of his most memorable moments in his career have been compiled onto one must-see tape. So it is the same thing as the DVD. But I like to have both. So there's that. Oh well. Then we have the original Kings of Comedy, which is absolutely hilarious, before D.L. Hughley lost his fucking mind. So there you go. But absolute classic. Have this on DVD as well. No Blu-ray, sadly. Sadly, this never got a Blu-ray release. Then we have America! Fuck yeah! Because you have to have this on VHS. But this is the R-rated theatrical cut. I think this was a case where they actually had to cut stuff to get the R rating. So I think particularly the puppet sex scene, for whatever reason. But the unrated version never came out on VHS. So there's that. And the rest of these that we're going to talk about in this segment all come from the last local mom and pop store before they closed. So there you go. Then we have Jackass the Movie Special Edition, which includes 27 minutes of additional footage, outtakes, and the Andrew W.K. music video, We Want Fun. So there you go. Love the first 3 Jackass movies I really liked. I never bothered to watch the fourth one. From what I heard from a lot of people, it wasn't that good, so there you go. But I would like to get the other Jackass VHS tapes. But for now, the movie's good. Unfortunately, I got water damage, but I don't think that was here. So we are good on that. And then we have a John Cusack double feature. So there you go. First up, we have Grosse Pointe Blank, which I don't think I've ever seen. But again, I found it for $0.25 at the last local mom and pop video store, so why not? And then we have High Fidelity, which I have seen before, and I do quite like, so you cannot go wrong with High Fidelity. I thought that was the chick from thought the blonde. I thought that was the girl from Some Kind of Wonderful, but I think she's dead, sadly. So there you go. Oh well. All right, so that is it. That's a good spot to stop. We went a little bit over an hour, but that's all the comedy. We wrap that up. So next time, which is probably we'll probably get it all wrapped up. But this is all the rest that you see here. This is all action film. So we'll cover all that next time, and we'll wrap that up. It'll probably take an hour by the way that I go, so we'll do that, and then the last segment will be all of the grandparents VHS. We'll wrap up with that. So anyway, as always, thank you guys for watching. Most importantly, take care of yourselves, and we will talk at you all soon. Later.